Good evening, and welcome to the 146.985 Monday Night Workbench. My name is Harvey, KC3NZT in Malvern, Pennsylvania, and I will be your net control operator for this installment of the Workbench. The Workbench is a directed technical net that operates every Monday night at 8 p.m. on the W3GMS repeater in Parkersburg, Pennsylvania. The goal of this net is to answer questions and discuss topics of a technical nature to further the aim of amateur radio. Information regarding the repeater, its owner, repeater operating practices, and our regular get-togethers both on the air and off can be found at the website www.w3gmsrepeater.com. The repeater uses a minus 600 kilohertz offset and is accessed with a PL tone of 100 hertz. There is a 3-minute timeout timer on the repeater. Please let off your push-to-talk for a moment if your transmission will exceed the 3-minute timer so it can reset, like this. Please wait about 1 second between hitting the push-to-talk and speaking, otherwise we can miss the first part of your transmission. Occasionally, the repeater has intermod present. Please run high power or be prepared to check in digitally. If intermod is present, please call out and ask the host if you are making it so we don't miss your transmission. Tonight we will begin with digital check-ins followed by RF check-ins. When you check in, please indicate if you have a question for the net. Once check-ins have completed, I will begin by asking stations to make a brief comment on what you did this last week in amateur radio in a roundtable style format. Please note the station that follows you in the rotation so you know whom to address following your comments. After general comments, I will begin the directed question portion of the net. Newcomers are very welcome, and we encourage all stations to check in even if they don't have a question. Participation is key, so please share your experiences if they pertain to the question being asked. Let's begin. This is Harvey, KC3NZT, asking for digital check-ins. Please call now.
Whiskey 8, Charlie Romeo Whiskey, CR. No question.
We got you there, CR. Nothing else heard. Any other digital stations, please call now. This is KC3NZT. Okay, nothing heard. RF check-ins, please call now. This is KC3NZT.
Whiskey Alpha 3, Victor Echo Echo, WA3, VEE. No questions, Harvey.
KC3RFG, Jim in Malvern. No questions, Harvey.
AB3AP, Mike in Avondale with no questions. NA3CW, no questions.
AC3OOK, no question.
Alpha 3, Lima Hotel. Have a question.
Ski Alpha 3, King Fox Tango. No question.
3, Mike Foxtrot Bravo. No question.
Alpha Foxtrot 3, Zulu. No question.
KC3MAI, Joe in Downingtown with a question.
made it easy on me tonight. That last station, I could hear you on the input. You were having a hard time getting through the repeater, but by the time I switched over, I had missed your call. Can you call one more time for me? I heard you're in and out, but I'd like to get you on the list. I just missed your call sign. Please go ahead again. This is KC3NZT. Very much, Frank. Are there any other RF check-ins that would like to get on the list? Please call now. This is KC3NZT. Heard any other digital check-ins that want to get on the list? Please call now. This is KC3NZT. Nothing heard. The list as I have it is W8CRW, WA3VEE, KC3RFG, AB3AP, NA3CW, KC3OOK, AA3LH, WA3KFT, K3MFB, AF3Z, KC3MAI, KD3DWL, Frank, who is in and out. The two questions I have written down here are from AA3LH and KC3MAI. Any mistaken calls, missed calls, or corrections, please call now. This is KC3NZT.
Unless I'm hearing myself wrong, I thought you said K3MFB. It's Whiskey 3, Mike Foxtrot Bravo, Harvey.
The correction there. Sorry about that. It is 28 degrees in the garage right now, and I must have just read it wrong. I have you on the list correctly, though. Any other corrections? Please call now.
This is Ron, WA3BW. Yeah. How long have I had this call sign? WA3VEE. That last check-in we had, Frank from Exton, that's Kilowatt Delta 3 Bravo Whiskey Lima QSL.
Very much. Kilo Delta 3 Bravo Whiskey Lima. Frank and Exton in and out. I appreciate it. Any other corrections? Sorry, guys. Nothing heard. Let's begin the roundtable style portion of the net here. We're going to turn it over to W8CRW. Please give us a few comments on what you did this last week in amateur radio. Over to you, CR. This is KC3NZT.
Very good, Harvey. Thanks for taking the chair tonight and keeping everybody straight. Good evening, all. This is CR. This week in ham radio has been a rather routine week. Nothing special, 985 activities, and a couple other nets. With that, let's go to Ron, WA3VEE, W8CRW.
WHCRW in the group, WA3VE over here in Westchester. Very, very good. Thank you, CR. And Harvey, great to hear you. We just don't hear enough of you, that's for sure. I know you're busy, but thanks for doing the net tonight. And it's always great to have you on. Not much going on in ham radio. I am assembling the various parts and pieces, including wood. Of course, there's always some wood involved in my electronics, and always some electronics involved in my woodwork projects. So this will be my center console. This will be an ongoing wintertime thing. So that'll be for my 2020 Porcupine, my 2020 Sienna van. So that's fun. And just so glad I got a brand new battery and a new set of tires on that van before the cold weather. Starts right up even in the cold weather. And Harvey, I hope you're layered very nicely. I'm sure you are. You're an outdoors person like the rest of some of us. So my goodness gracious, need to get a space heater in that garage. But let's see, not much else. We'll say good evening to Frank BWL, bandwidth limited. Bandwidth limiter, I should say. Frank and I are both members, along with Tim and a few others here, QP, a few others, members of Pottstown Area Amateur Radio Club. That's how I know Frank. And Frank, for some reason, your signal is awfully weak, and it should not be from where you are. So we'll need to talk about that maybe at the next Pottstown meeting or whatever. But anyway, with that, that's all that's going on here. Look forward to the questions tonight. And we'll turn it over to Jim over there in Malvern, KC3RFG to transmit with the group WA3VEE.
W3VEE, thank you, Ron. This is KC3RFG, Jim in Malvern. Thank you, Harvey, for hosting the Workbench this evening. Much appreciated, especially in your chilly garage. Extra appreciated, let's say. Not too much to add here on in-ham radio either. The normal, the daily nets is about all I've been doing. I've been busy outside splitting wood for the wood stove, and we sure have been going through it lately with this. And we're going to go through some more the rest of the week. But we got a good supply, and just did some preventative antenna maintenance, checking tension on the dipoles and such after all the wind storms we've had. So tweaked everything up, and hopefully we're good for the next storm. So we'll see how it goes. All right, with that, I will send it over to, I believe it's Mike, AB3AP from KC3RFG.
KC3RFJ, AB3AP. Thanks, Jim, and good evening, all. I had a pretty light radio week. I was on 985 a handful of times, not on HF even once. Doing other things related to Christmas. And super quick comment for Ron, your woodwork and electronics and vice versa. Somehow that triggered an old memory. We might recall a big story about the Great Seal, the wood carving given to maybe U.S. Embassy by Soviet kids that had a passive cavity resonator, I believe, going by fuzzy memory. And what an ingenious combination there. I'm sure you're not doing that. Chuck, over to you. NA3CW, AB3AP.
Thank you, Mike. AB3AP, NA3CW. Well, I don't think Ron's going to be bugging anybody, at least not that way. So, Week in Ham Radio, some mobiling, some 985 in the car, not in the car, and PM/AM net, rounding up the troops in the pre-net on 75 meters. Had a good bunch yesterday. And also started working on actually putting wires into the a interface box, kind of a power injection box that's going to go into Joe's tuner system, where it injects 12 volts into the control system, sort of at the patch panel where the cables come in from the outside, and so it provides control power for the control head, which is at the operating position, and for the control circuits out at the tuner in the little building at the base of the tower. So I've got 4 9-pin D-sub connectors to wire up, a relay, and a 12-volt inlet. And I've got the first 2 9-pin connectors wired up and ready to go in the next 2. I collect dead, especially computer interfaces and switches and boxes and whatnot for their cabinets. This particular one was a video switch that was in our church. The no longer needed, and the pieces that it talked to are no longer functional. But this thing was beautifully made. I hated to take it apart to scavenge the cabinet, but I did, because it has 4 9-pin D-sub. Actually, it was 4 15-pin D-subs for VGA connections. But I took the board out of it, and I have some parts that I'm going to take off that board. And I got the replacement 9 pins in there. So making progress again. Finally got a computer I was working on for a long time out and delivered. So back to ham radio. Over to Bill, KC300K, NA3CW.
NA3CW, KC300K, Workbench Group. Harvey, thanks for taking the chair tonight. It's good to hear you.
as far as me, not real active, I don't think. The usual 985 nets and activities. I did host the South Control for the Simplex net on Saturday night and continued to get some good data on the new antenna, and I am extremely pleased with how it performs. I think it's a combination of the antenna and having it properly balanced 50 ohms on the coax is making a huge difference. Other than that, I've been working on, I made the panel to hold the rotary switches for the rack cabinet. So with 5 bird rotary switches, I'll be able to send any antenna to any radio, either HF or VHF, UHF. So I'm going to be painting that tomorrow. May have some questions for Chuck about that. But that's about it here, and I turn it over to the dude up on the hill, AA3LH, KC300K.
This is the dude, AA3LH, the guy on the hill, the hermit on the hill, the gobbler on the hill, whatever, but it's me. Oh my, this past week I'm playing around. This is the time of the year, folks, I play around the antennas that I travel with. Make sure that they work. That is the goal, make sure before I decide to go traveling anywhere that everything works as good as I can get it to work. And so I was playing around a G5 RV. Put a choke balun on it between the end of the ladder line and the coax, and yeah, that seemed to make it better. People seemed to hear me. People that I was talking to, it seemed to say I'm coming in better than what I was. So that's what I was doing this past week, playing with that antenna, doing things to it. Okay, next it goes in another turkey. Another guy a turkey that survived Thanksgiving. Mr. John, KFT, go ahead, AA3LH.
AA3LH, WA3 King Fox Tango, Kentucky Fried Turkey. Okay, well, the typical nets and what have you, and working a little bit of DX. The 10-meter band has been open, and we got things like North Texas, Brazil, come on here, South Dakota, Oklahoma. So the 10-meter band has been very, very nice to us. And believe it or not, when the band is open like that, it's not crowded. Mainly because people don't know that the band is open. We have a daily net from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on 28435. And we are very well known out in the Midwest for using that frequency in the hour of 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock Eastern Time. We've worked North and South Dakota, we've worked Alaska, we've worked California, Texas, very common, Colorado, Louisiana, and so forth. So, very good band, especially when the band opens and there's somebody out there that realizes it. We haven't had any pile-ups lately, but it's a fun thing. Very unpredictable from day to day as to what's going on. Okay, Mike, wake up. K3MFB from WA3 Kentucky Fried Turkey.
John wrote it down as K3. Alright, it's Whiskey 3, John. Whiskey, like Jameson's. W3MFB, just hanging out. Good to hear everybody. Roundtable and roundtable. Had the double shot. Double shot Thursday over the last week or so. That's interesting. You had me staring at the map, John. I was like, I still need Idaho and Utah. I'm never on when somebody from there is on. I need to check into what is it, the 7188 crew or whatever, and see if there's anybody there, or just call CQ for those states, and then I'll be done. But anyway, I think it goes over to Jim, AF3Z, W3MFB.
Good evening, Mike, and everybody. AF3Z, thanks, Harvey. And John KFT, you didn't have to wake Mike up. With Leon and then you, we all had our gain way back already. You guys are both powerful coming in here. And so anyway, almost drowned out my guitar, in fact. Yeah, AF3Z, if I didn't say that. Not a whole lot here. Last week was a real busy week for me otherwise. Even my usual CW contacts here locally, we missed about 5 or 6 days in a row. Got on this morning, and that was the first time in a while, but that was good to exercise my fingers again. It's amazing how quickly you can sort of slip and start to forget how to do things. But otherwise, not a whole lot going on here, radio-wise. So that's it. Joe, good to hear you tonight. KC3MAI, AF3Z.
AF3Z, KC3MAI. Yes, hello, Jim, and hello to the rest of the group. Harvey, thank you for hosting us. This week in ham radio for me was a little bit, I tried to be a little bit more disciplined with myself. I'm trying to learn CW, and I've been trying to be a little more disciplined daily with some regular study sessions, which I did. I think I'm up to about 9 letters now, so I'm happy about that. So that's progressing pretty well. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Frank, I'm going to give you the baton, KD3BWL, KC3MAI.
Joe, Frank was in and out, so in case Frank wants to check in or give us some comments, go ahead now, Frank, but he was in and out. Nothing heard. My week was pretty light in ham radio. I did check my QRZ. I guess the link, you would say, from Logbook of the World, importing into QRZ to see if I got that Galapagos station on the 10-meter. Well, I guess it was the worldwide contest a couple of weeks ago or whatnot. And they did not confirm on QRZ. So I really wanted that Galapagos. Definitely got them. Some people don't use QRZ for logging, so unfortunate. But that's about it for me. With that, I do have 2 questions down from AA3LH Leon and KC3MAI Joe. Are there any other stations that want to throw their hat in the ring for the question portion, or are there any other check-ins that would like to get on the list? Please call now.
This is W3GMS Red in Coatesville.
All right, we got you on the list there. Do you want to give us a brief comment on what you did this last week in radio, and then we'll head into our question portion?
Good evening, all. Thanks for taking the net there, Harvey. I put together a Diamond D130N with the DN has the N connector. A discount. It's a heck of a performer on 6 meters. And 220. 440 and 2 meter, and it's a heck of a scanner antenna. I'm picking up the new 800 megahertz system from Delaware County out here, Coatesville, so I'm very happy with this antenna, especially since I'm exclusively stealth indoors here, so doing the best I can. Back to you. Have a good evening, all. This is W3FES Fred from the Coatesville.
Alrighty, very good. Well, we can move over into the question portion of the net. We're going to start off this evening with Leon, AA3LH. Over to you, Leon. Please let us know what your question is. KC3NZT.
All right. Thank you, Harvey. This is AA3LH to start out. As I mentioned earlier, it's a time of the year I play with antennas to make sure that they work, get them as good as I can get. Traveling antennas we're talking about. I have an Eagle 1 antenna, that the direction set, if it's freestanding, it needs a 49-to-1 unbalanced to unbalanced, or a 64-to-1 unbalanced to unbalanced. But I put radials on this. It wires, 20 feet long, 30 feet long. I put radials on, even if they're only 15 feet long. Do I still need an unbalanced to unbalanced transformer? That is my question. Back to net control AA3LH.
Excellent question. I actually have one of those as well. Any comments for Leon in the group? The Eagle One, in case people aren't familiar, that's a vertical, but it's not resonant. It's about 30 feet tall and has provisions for mounting radials. It is fed by a SO239 directly at its base. Comments for Leon? Please call now. This is KC3NZT.
CW.
Hi, Chuck.
Does it need the transformer? Depends. If it's just 30 feet of conductor and radials, say on 40 meters, it's a low impedance, and no, you don't want that. And if it's, say, 20 meters, maybe you do want it. Or 15 meters, maybe you do want it. The driving, it's, a vertical is a vertical. So assuming you got a radial system, you got a ground reference. So if it's a quarter wave or close to a quarter wave, it's going to be a low driving impedance at the base, because a quarter wave at the other end of a quarter, the top of the antenna is open circuit, and the bottom of the antenna is a quarter wave away, so it's going to be a low impedance versus a high impedance at the other end, so the open end. If it's a half wave, the top is open, and therefore the bottom is open, high impedance. So you need to drive it with a high impedance source. So my question is, do they delineate any difference between bands on whether to use transformers or not? Back to net, NA3CW.
Good, very good. Leon, they didn't give any other additional information in the instructions regarding that, did they?
No, Harvey. The instructions said just to make it freestanding, like in a tripod base, you need the transformer. You need one of those transformers to make it work. But when I put radials on it, do I still need to follow those transformers? That is the question. I know if I don't put any radials on, then I wouldn't need it, or they recommend a 49-to-1, at least that much. But I put radials on that. I mean, radials makes an antenna better. Let's face it. I've played with it for a long time, and it does make it better. But I never put an unbalanced transformer on it. I was wondering if that would help. That was my question. Back to net control AA3OH.
We'll open that back up to the group there, Leon. I can give you some of my experience with that. When it comes to the non-resonant verticals, I run them the same way you are, with radials of random length on the ground. I have never found the impedance to be that far off with that length of wire with 30 feet as a vertical. The impedance to be so wild in order to need a 49-to-1. Most of the antennas that I've seen that are of a similar design are running either a 9-to-1 or a 5-to-1. And if you use any kind of antenna analyzer or nano VNA, you can do some back-of-the-napkin math on which is more appropriate for the bands that are desired. But in general, the goal would just be to get the match low enough so that you're not taking such a loss hit on the coax between the antenna and your tuner, or the tuner inside your rig. So if the impedance is wildly mismatched, then your tuner in the rig isn't going to do anything. It's going to not like it. But if you have an outboard tuner or an automatic tuner with your rig, you're still going to take that loss, that hit on the effective radiated power by the coax, eating up that juice because the match is so wild. So On most of the non-resonant verticals I've seen that are in that length range, a lot of people are just running a 9-to-1 or a 5-to-1 un-un, just to get it reasonable enough for that 3-to-1 inside your rig to be able to handle it from there, or your outboard tuner to handle it at the rig. So that's what I have seen. Any other comments for Leon? Please call now. This is KC3NZT.
CW. The ideal in the situation like that to multi-band it would be to have a remote tuner, an automatic tuner at the antenna out at the base. Then you get rid of the heavy coax loss from running a mismatch load on the coax. The other thing is just having a choke, an un-uns choke balun is just a 1-to-1 in line with the coax. I think is a good thing regardless. Even if you have an automatic tuner out at the antenna and you have radials, it still benefits to have a choke balun on the feed line and also on the control line if there is one. I did this very kind of thing for Matt and for MRW back when they had some semblance of a backyard, which was about the size of, I don't know, my bathroom. And they don't have that situation now, so it's not possible where they are now. At the time, I made a elevated vertical about 5 feet high and a wooden base weighted with blocks on the bottom, and I had a hollow piece of fiberglass pipe, and I ran copper tubing up inside the pipe, and like 1/4 inch copper tubing, 1/4 inch or 3/8 copper tubing as a radiator, and I had a automatic antenna tuner right at the base. And had RF problems until I put a choke in the feed line and a choke in the control line. And then you could work all kinds of radio with it on various bands. They give recommended lengths to avoid. You don't want to end up with a high impedance feed. Like you don't want the length of the antenna, excuse me, to be a half wavelength long at the driving impedance or driving frequency, because it's going to be a super high impedance to drive, which means super high voltage in the tuner, and it's not going to like it. Similarly, you don't want to run super short either. But in any event, the impedance has changed from band to band. So just as Harvey pointed out, there's no one size fits all situations if you're going from band to band with a single non-resonant radiator, if that makes any sense. Back to net, NA3CW.
Good, very good. Any other comments for Leon? Please call now. This is KC3NZT. Nothing heard. I'm turning it back to you, Leon. Did that help? Do you have any follow-ups? Are you satisfied? AA3LH, this is KC3NZT.
Yes, Harvey. Those were good answers. To put a 1-to-1 choke balun in. I have a 1-to-1 choke balun in my G5 RV that we have that's been all over the place, and have that up right now using that, and that has improved. And so if it makes this other one improve, I want to put a choke balun on it and go from there. Thank you, guys. Back to net control, AA3LH.
Thank you, Leon, for asking a question. We love the participation. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our second question of the night, which is KC3MAI. Joe, over to you for your question.
KC3NZT, Harvey, thank you. KC3MAI. I have a question about SFI, Solar Flux Index. I'm wondering if somebody might be able to give me a quick explanation as to what it is, maybe explain how it affects propagation. Tell me whether or not you have a website that you like that provides that information. And maybe also explain how SFI might change seasonally. I'll turn it back to you, Harvey. KC3NZT, KC3MAI.
Very good, Joe. This is definitely not in my wheelhouse. Opening it up to the group. Please call for comments for Joe. This is KC3NZT.
W3GMS.
Ron?
Good, Harvey. Thank you so much. KC3NZT and the group W3GMS. The Solar Flux Index is derived, first of all, it's the amount of geomagnetic energy that is emanating from the sun, from its corona, and that is caused by all the disturbances from the sunspots. And of course, we all know that we're in the middle, or we're almost at the end now of a sunspot cycle, which means that there are a number of sunspots up there. And what that does to the ionosphere, which is of course what we need for the HF propagation, obviously, is that causes a lot of absorption if it's very, very high, and if it's too high, it kills radio communications. It can also enhance radio communications, and it can also put on a very, very interesting show. The KP tonight is about 7, and that is a little higher. So the aurora might be visible out there if you're brave enough to get outside and take a look at it. So I did a presentation on this. I'm going to send it to Joe if he's interested to post it on the 985 website. But I will send you, Joe, MAI, a PDF of it for sure. I did a presentation in October on this at the Pottstown Area Amateur Radio Club. Harvey, back to you. KC3NZT. Hope I answered the question briefly. WA3VEE.
Ron, that's fascinating. Any other comments for Joe? Please call now. This is KC3NZT. Nothing heard. Back over to you, Joe. Do you have any follow-ups, or does that help answer your question? This is KC3NZT.
KC3NZT, KC3MAI. No, a wonderful explanation, Ron. Thank you for doing that. I'm curious, does it have any, do the seasons affect it regularly?
MFB with a comment.
Go ahead there, Mike.
Sorry. Hey, Joe, you might want to, solar data, right? You're interested. Tamitha Scove on YouTube. Follow her on YouTube. She gives solar weather prediction data, usually when there's a flare or something like that, X-flare or something like that going on, she'll post immediately. But she is a space weather. They call her the space weather woman. If you can't spell, I think it's SKOVE. Somebody might know that. I'm not looking at a computer right now, but that's what she studies, and she presents information via YouTube and other social media platforms throughout the year, and very informative. Kind of explains what's going on with the sun and how it affects amateur radio and GPS and satellite and whatnot. She is licensed as well, so that's a great way to start learning about solar data and how it affects radio. Besides just reading stuff, but that's my comment. Back to you, Harvey. KC3 and KC3NZT W3MFB.
So that's wonderful. Thank Thank you very much. Joe, you had a follow-up real quick there right before Mike jumped in, asking about something about it changing. You want to go ahead and throw that out again?
NZT, KC3MAI. No, I was just curious as it related to the seasons. If the seasons have any regular, effect upon SFI. W3VEE. Harvey, KC3NZT and net WA3VE. There might have been another double in there too. So you want to, after I'm done, you may want to check and see for somebody else in there. It has nothing to do with the Earth. We have seasons here on the Earth. The Sun doesn't have seasons; it has 11-year sunspot cycles, and that's where this is all coming from. It really, truly is, as Mike indicated, space weather. It's not the terrestrial Earth weather that we know. So our seasons have no effect on it. However, the tilt of the Earth has some effect because at half the year we are tilted closer to the Sun than we are at the other half of the year. But nonetheless, that is one thing, and websites. Yeah, Tamethoscope, SKOV, is one site. Solar Ham, all one word, is another site. And when you get this presentation, you'll have more sites than you wished for, that's for sure. So there's plenty of information out there, and I have a little cheat sheet that I gave out at the Pottstown Amateur Radio Club meeting in October that you could just paste up on your console, and you could take a look at Solar Ham. QRZ, by the way, there's a panel that comes up with those data on it, KP index, A index, and so on and so forth, sunspot numbers, and all that kind of good stuff. You'll see that panel. I talk about it in the presentation. Harvey, back to you. KC3NZT, WA3VEE.
Excellent, Ron. Thanks so much. Ron mentioned there could have been a double in there. Was there another station trying to make comments for Joe? Please call now. This is KC3NZT.
3RFG. Harvey, actually, Ron covered everything I was going to say, but I'll agree with him. Solarham.com, which is done by a Canadian ham, is a very good collection of all that information once you learn what you're looking for. Although some of his individual charts can show you by themselves what's going on. You need to learn a little bit about the solar, the SFI number, the A and the K index, and when you do, as I was going to mention too, it's always in a little box on QRZ and on many websites. Where once you learn what numbers to look at and what they start to mean to you, whether it's good or bad, that it's high or low, you can find the numbers almost everywhere, including lots of online sites. But definitely look for a little bit of training on propagation and what the A and K indexes mean on online and on YouTube, and you will quickly learn what good numbers are good for to look for on the indexes. So especially the A and the K index. All right, that was it. Thanks, Ron, for filling that in as well. Back to you, Harvey, KC3RFG.
Well, thank you, Jim. Any other comments for Joe? Please call now. Back over to you, Joe.
Thank you to all. Nothing further at this point. I just tried to write down as much as I could, as fast as I could, and I appreciate the input from everyone, so thank you.
Thank you for an excellent question. It's always nice to hear about that kind of stuff. It's kind of magical to me, how all that stuff works. Does anybody else have a question they'd like to throw out to the group? We still have time. Maybe a question that you thought of during the workbench. Please call now. This is KC3NZT. Hey, nothing heard. Are there any other lurkers that would like to check in, get on our list for tonight's workbench? Digital or RF, please call now. This is KC3NZT.
Kilo Delta 3, Echo Mike Sierra.
Delta 3, Echo Mike Sierra, thanks for checking in. We have you on the list. Any other stations, please call now.
3OGF, November 3, Oscar Golf, Foxtrot, always listening.
N2HM.
F, we've got you on the log. Any other stations, please call now.
Kilo Charlie 3, Yankee India Golf, Dave from Lancaster.
N2HM.
K3CH.
This is fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for checking in. I got you there, KC3YIG Dave. I got N2HM and K3CH. Any other stations that want to get on the list, please call. Do any of you gentlemen have a question for the workbench tonight, or are you guys just listening on the side?
C3YIG, no questions. A little bit late. Heard a little bit of the conversation at the end, but thanks, no questions.
HM has been listening and fighting with computers.
K3CH, I have a question.
Excellent. Well, we have time to take a K3CH, and fighting with computers and listening is perfectly welcome here. So you're in good company here. K3CH, it's a new call sign for me. My name's Harvey, KC3NZT. If you could just give me your name and go ahead and fire away with your question.
Okay, Harvey, nice to make your acquaintance tonight. Name here is Chuck. And my question is, I don't know if anybody in the group has ever had any RF interference from the, say, the electric meter and maybe the water meter, where they have the intermittent data transmissions to send out the meter readings. I don't know if anybody's ever had any problems with that or not. Over.
Good question. I know at least one of the people on the net tonight have had appliance interference for sure. I'll throw that out to the group. It's a good question. Smart meters sending out signals intermittently that are interfering with RF stations, or appliances interfering with RF stations. Any experience with that? Please call now.
W3VEE. It's WA3VEE. No experience with smart meters. However, they're operating all the way up in the 900 megahertz region, and also in the Wi-Fi, the low Wi-Fi region, 2.4 gigahertz. So I'd be curious to find out what the artifacts are when that. How you determine that it really is the smart meter that's doing the interfering. What we have over here, of course, with all these monitors, there's probably more iron in ferrites on these HDMI cables here than there is in a Minnesota iron mine. And that is one way that I've reduced a lot of the interference from these meters to HF. It used to be all over the place, and I expected that. And so ferrites help there. Also, my furnace XV95 train has a variable speed motor, which is, I believe, I'm not sure, it might be pulse width modulated. And that also can get into 15 meters, 12 meters, and 10 meters over here. So there's not much I've done about that. It's not bothersome enough, but that would be another ferrite situation. Don't know if that helps or not, but very curious about the interference coming from the 900 megahertz band. That's really pretty far up there. KC3NZT, WA3VEE.
Good, Ron. Thank you for that. Any other people with comments for Chuck regarding the interference? Please call now.
K3CH. Ron, if I may, this is something that has to do with my DirecTV signal. And I'm hearing these very short digital transmissions as low as just above the FM broadcast band on 108.5 megahertz. I don't know what's in that range that would be transmitting that. They're just very short transmissions, and it is affecting the TV a little bit. So I don't know. I have to try to figure it out. But I appreciate you coming back. K3CH.
If I might.
You would. Go ahead, Ron.
Good. Chuck, I see over here in Westtown on QRZ. I was going to say, if you're out in Modena or somewhere like that, you're probably getting an artifact of the VOR out there in the aviation band, because that's the next band up from the FM broadcast band. Of course, that's 109 to 135. But no, that's not an issue. That's got to be something local. But no idea what that might be, because that's in the middle. That would be in the, if it's like I just said, if it's in the 108 plus area, excuse me, that is in the aviation band, and that would be a no-no. And there's nothing that I know of, no beacons or Vortax or any of that stuff. VORs rather, well, Vortac would be military, of course, but no VORs that I know of in the Westtown area, or any kind of emitters that would do that. But be interesting to find out exactly what frequency that is. Back to you, Harvey. KC3NZT, WA3VEE.
Very much, Ron. I'll share one little thing. I don't know if it's helpful or not, but it might just help to broaden the search, I think. But I actually have, at my house, I'm kind of a hi-fi nut, and I have a set, multiple sets, actually, of these Class D amplifiers that I use, that usually, because they're Class D, I just leave them on and they're idling. But one of them will actually put out RF in the 2-meter band. The only reason I bring that up is because it's not necessarily that I think you have that same problem by you, but sometimes smaller appliances can put out a signal in the RF band that they shouldn't put out, and it could literally be anything. There are some ways to help empirically eliminate circuits throughout the house if you want to take it step by step and do a very thorough job of isolating it. But just me personally, I've had things from my vacuum sealer. I cannot leave my vacuum sealer plugged in. It generates artifacts. But the amplifier one is unique because it is narrow banded, it oscillates, and it is FM. It appears because it will open up. It'll open up a radio that's on that frequency. It'll open up like it's a signal, but it's not a signal. The second you turn that amplifier off, it goes away, and that frequency changes from time to time. It's not always the same frequency. But when you look at it on a band scope, it's oscillating left and right. It looks like an RF signal that you might even be looking for, but it's not. It's just interference. So just saying that to maybe help broaden the scope out. It could be something that you don't even expect. So I just wanted to give that little experience share. Any other comments for Chuck? Please call now. Back over to you, Chuck. Do you have any follow-ups?
None that I can think of right now. I appreciate all the comments. And these manufacturers, they don't always follow the band plan that the FCC has put out there. And I was even thinking about, they put these RF trackers in packages and equipment and stuff like that. This developed about a month ago, and I've been trying to figure out where it's at. But I'll deal with it a little bit longer until I can't. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just call DirecTV and tell them to send a technician out. So appreciate it. This is K3CH. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you for the question, Chuck. We appreciate it. And if you do get it licked and you figure out exactly what it is, it'd be wonderful to hear you back on the Workbench another week, and you can give us the update on what it was. It's always nice to hear the follow-ups when an issue, some curiosity, and then some resolution. That really brings it home. That's wonderful. With that, I believe we have concluded the Workbench tonight. We got some extra check-ins. That's awesome. The list is actually, it's sizable. I like it. Thanks to everybody who participated. Thanks for everyone who checked in, and a special thanks to those with questions. We love it. Don't forget there is the roundtable on Thursday at 8 p.m., so please check into that for some non-technical stuff, and maybe some technical stuff. You never know. With that, I will turn the repeater back over to normal amateur use. Thank you, everybody, and good night. This is KC3NZT. I am clear.
Harvey, you run a great net. You really need to do this more often. NA3CW.
What Chuck said, WA3VEE, very nicely done. Nice, compact, quick, efficient, exactly what an NCS should be. Nice job. WA3VEE.
I'm here, Harvey, KC3RFG Creighton. I'd like to hear you back again doing it.
It's great to do it. I enjoy it. I wish I was on more. I'm getting to that point, but we've been running back-to-back illnesses lately. I've got one right now with a 104 fever inside. So we'll get there. We just, man, my schedules aren't lining up the way I hoped they would line up. But it is great to hear all of you, and I appreciate you guys having me. So for someone that's so intermittent on the radio, I would fully understand if I was just booted. But I appreciate you guys having me and everybody checking in. It's a highlight. I was a little late getting back to the house today, so that's why the heater wasn't on. I think Ron mentioned that. It's on now, but I think it's a little undersized. But yeah, everything is good over here in the garage now, and I think we got to figure out what to do about this fever. So thank you all, and we'll probably talk later on, I hope. This is KC3NZT. Back to whoever's out there.
Good luck with the kids. Been there, done that, and I know exactly what you're going through there. So good luck, and hopefully we'll hear you, and hopefully we'll see you at the breakfast, I hope. And certainly hope to talk to you before the holiday. WA3VEE clear.
VEE, boy, I sound like Leon. WA3VEE AF3Z speaking of the breakfast.
How are you, AF3Z WA3VEE? How are you doing?
Are doing okay, I think. And Harvey and I communicate, well, my normal reminder emails on hosting. And I think as the two of us can put together our heads, I think maybe you have an amplifier that was going to come to me, and I don't think you and I have been at the same breakfast since then. I've missed some, and you've missed some, I think. So anyway, if you're going to be there, and if you have that, maybe this breakfast we can switch that over.
Amplifier. If you're speaking to me about that, Jim, refresh my memory. I know I have your Omni 6, and I have a 7300, but I don't remember an amplifier. Go ahead.
Smaller. You read my mind. I was just going to, I unkeyed to see if maybe you came back. Go ahead, Harvey.
I'm just shutting everything down here, so I definitely heard it. It's the Micro PA50. It's a small rectangular box, maybe 7 inches long, 4 inches wide, 1 inch high, and it had with it a voltage boost box, which just looks like a heat sink, and some pigtails coming out of it. This was when you came over with the van. Man, it was a while ago. And I just mentioned, it goes to Jim at the next breakfast if your guys' schedule is aligned. I don't know if I'm jogging memory. It has a very miniature, like an LCD, maybe even LED, old style screen on the front, and maybe only 1 or 2 buttons. It's just an SO239 in and out on the back.
You stumped the panel. Maybe one of his cats is using it for a hand warmer.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, that was a whole bunch of stuff that. Okay, now I'm plugged into what's going on. There was a bunch of stuff you gave me for potentially the field day. Yeah, let me see. I might have that over in storage, at extra space storage over there, but I will dig it out. Boy, that really, man, did I draw a blank on that one? Obviously, yeah, you bet. Stump the not so chump. Let me dig it out and dust it off and make sure that I have it in the van for delivery to you. So yes, now I remember, Harvey. Very, very good. So yeah, back to you, Harvey. That's for sure. Now I remember. So it's like 2 pieces. There was a little power supply that went with it and the other. So I'm even having trouble picturing it. But I had all that stuff together. It's either in the garage on my antenna shelf or it is in storage in very good safekeeping. And KC3NZT in a group, WA3VEE.
I will say that the power supply is not necessarily needed. It's a nice to have, not a need to have, and it's small, so it would be very easy to lose. But I did do this. I went on to Google here, and I just typed in micro PA50 with a space between micro and PA50, and like the first 5 results have pictures on sponsored products, and that's what it looks like, at least the front panel, so you get an idea of how incredibly small that screen is. It's not a big screen, it's not a big unit at all. So that's, if you pull it up on the Googles, it will at least show you, it's that color, and that's what it looks like, in case you need something to match it up with. KC3NZT.
That really helps a lot. I have it right here in front of me. Excellent. Right here on the screen. Monitor number 6, actually. So yes, I will take a look for this out in the garage and also in storage for sure. Thanks for jogging my memory on this. Let me turn it over to Jim. AF3Z in the group, WA3VEE.
To both of you, I'm the benefactor of your actions. Yeah, I forget what, Harvey, you said it puts out, but it's for boosting up a QRP style rig up to underside of QRO, let's put it that way. So yeah, I forgot about it at times too, and I figured you did because neither of us has mentioned it. It just jogged my brain the other day when I was emailing Harvey, and I said, oh, and I remember, I think it might have been September, and we might have been talking about the October breakfast, or I don't know. But anyway, when was I can't think of the place now. The antique radio meet, Kutztown. It might have been that breakfast that you were going to bring it, or it might have been one I was going to miss. But anyway, we've both been in and out. So thank you very much, guys. And yeah, I am planning on being there this month. So appreciate it all the way around. Something else crossed my brain, but it went right on through. Over to you there, Harvey. If you want to get out of here, feel free. But anyway, thanks very much for hanging in here. AF3Z.
No worries, I'm waiting for the kerosene to cool off, so I have a few more minutes here. If I recall correctly, it says in the instructions 5 watts in, 50 watts out. That's 50. But in my experience, you don't need any more than 3 watts to get the full 50, and driving it past 50 is probably not wise just because the small size of it, you know, airflow and all. So that's what it was, and I looked at the calendar really quickly. Do I have this right? 4th Saturday every month? Does that mean that the breakfast is the 26th? Because if it is, I have off that week, and I may be able to make it. Or is it the 3rd Saturday every month? Can someone fill me in on that? This is KC3NZT.
Friday to begin with, so that would be let's see, that would be the 19th. Over to you, Jim, AF3Z in the group to take it, W3GMS. Yeah, it's Friday. We never had them on a Saturday.
On a Sunday, or what's that old song? Yeah, third Friday. Third Friday. So yeah, this month it is the, I can't read that far. I think it's the 19th. So yep, coming up in about a week from tomorrow. No, this was Monday. Don't mind me. 3rd, you are right there, Harvey.
I might be able to. That's the big one, right? The Christmas one is the big one. I take it that means it's the one to go to. I could probably do a half day on that, the 19th. I'll have to look into that. Not promising anything, but I can look into it. But is that the good one? The big one of the year?
It is.
I will investigate on that, and we'll see what's what. And I would absolutely love to hear some reports of you QRPing with that rig, and would love to hear how it works for you. Like I said, I did have to open up that amp one time to do the modification that all the internet says you have to do, and it worked great for me. The modification was to change a diode because it was to a different value, because if not, it would erroneously read high SWR and pull back power. But other than that, it seems to be a fairly well-regarded unit, especially to get 50 watts out of a 3-watt rig. That's a substantial boost, and it's very small. So yeah, I would love to hear some field feedback on that for sure. So please keep me in the loop on that. But otherwise, guys, I'm gonna head inside and gonna deal with this little fever thing we got going on here. So appreciate it, and it was great talking to you all. I'm gonna say 73. This is KC3NZT, and I will be clear.
GMS for a quick word with Harvey before he takes off.
Go ahead.
All-Star, so there's a delay, guys. Harvey, Joe here, GMS. All the 985 breakfasts are good. They're all fantastic. Go ahead.
I believe that 100%, but I think the one breakfast I've been to, I believe you even mentioned it then. You said if you're going to steal away for a breakfast, rarely, try to check out the Christmas one, I think is what you said. So certainly have never checked out the Christmas one. Only been to 2 breakfasts, only ate at one. The other one I just did parking lot. So taking a half day is no big deal. At least it shouldn't be. So I'm gonna ask on that, and we'll see. Back to you.
Well, the advantage of the Christmas one is we have more people. I think last year, I'm not sure about the exact number, but it was around 42 or 43. And from what I'm hearing, we may have 45 up to 50. So they'll have extra staff on and everything. And it would be wonderful to see you there. And let's see, what other comments? I was listening to the Workbench. Somebody mentioned smart meters. I think it was Chuck Harrington, CH. And I don't know whether Chuck was on the digital side or not, but boy, I'm surprised nobody mentioned his mic gain setting or distortion or whatever, but boy, he was really, really distorted. But anyway, I did a little study years ago about these smart meters, and it's not the 900 meg frequency run. It's the logic and the processors and the control board in the smart meter itself, the clocks and all that, with the nanosecond rise and falling edges. Go ahead.
Very good, good, Joe. Yeah, and Harvey, we'll let you deal with your fever situation here with your child here in a second. But yeah, all very good. That makes more sense because it didn't make sense to me to see the 900 megahertz transmission, the actual RF transmission of the data. That wouldn't. But yeah, the board probably radiates sings like a canary. That's for sure. We'll turn it over to Harvey here, and I'm going to get out of here myself. Joe, good to hear you, and I'll be on probably most of the day tomorrow listening because I'll be working in the shop and the lab and the shack here. KC3NZT, W3GMS with the group.
Ron, yeah, I've got all my stuff collected up. I'm heading in, but real quick, Joe, what is the cutoff? You usually have an RSVP on an email. Did I miss that already, or has that email not gone out? It usually has some kind of deadline, like I must know by this date. Do you have that date, or did that email already go out?
No, it's sent out to the whole 985 user list. So you should be getting them, and it's sent out the Tuesday before the Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I need my, if you're going to make it or not, by Thursday at noon. And that's not my rule. That's a restaurant rule, because then they can adjust the staff accordingly. But it's, you'll get the email on Tuesday, respond by Thursday, and we'll see your shining face on Friday.
Very good. Thanks so much. Good evening, everyone. KC3NZT clear.
Thanks, Harvey. And by the way, that amp will put me up to my normal QRO power. Where do you run?
Very, very good, Harvey. Excellent. I'm going to get back to work here, too. I have a, Joe, you'll be happy to know, I actually got on the bench tonight, this afternoon. I have a portable signal generator in Marconi Instruments, 1 gigahertz high-end signal generator that I got from, what was it? Valley Forge, I guess. No, I got it from, believe it or not, Sellersville. And the guy replaced the output transistor on the oscillator. It works great. So I think it's a 2022. John, KN3I, has one just like it. He picked up at Valley Forge at Kimberton. So that's actually got on the bench. Actually has some squiggles on the screen going on. So that's good. So I got to get in there and turn things off, head on up to bed. So good to hear you guys. I'm going to say 7-3 and get out of here. And I'll locate this amp and make sure that it's in the van and it'll be ready for delivery. AF3Z in the group, WA3VEE.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Harvey. Good to hear you in there, Joe, as well. And you, I'm sitting here plunking on my guitar. So anyway, catch up with you soon, and like by the breakfast at least. Thanks for jumping in, Joe. AF3Z.
Yeah, very good, Jim. I've been busy. In fact, Ron, I was over at Fern Hill Medical Center yesterday. Today, and I'll be back there on Wednesday, so I'm right in your backyard. But anyway, haven't used the 540 yet, Jim, because of the power supply. The power supply has been in transit for 10 days, and it's hilarious watching the tracker. I hope I finally get it, because I really wanted the matching power supply for the rig, and this will be my CW-only station. But anyway, make a long story short, it was sent from California, USPS, which is, I find, very, very problematic these days. Numerous problems and close duration to one another. But anyway, it went from California and came across the country pretty good. And then it lands in Washington. And then it lands in Bethany Beach, Delaware. And then from Bethany Beach, Delaware, it goes to the Philadelphia depot, and then back to Bethany Beach for 4 or 5 days, and now it's in Wilmington. Go ahead.
Makes sense. You know, the fastest route is a straight line, unless you get into modern physics. Yeah, very good. I was going to look that up, and it slipped my mind. you know, my Triton 4 digital is 544. Now, is that the Triton 4 that wasn't digital, or is that a previous rig? I wasn't clear which one that was.
It's identical to yours, but it doesn't have the digital readout. But I may be wrong on that. You can kind of look at the picture and see if the knobs are the same place. But no, it has analog tuning on it. And I got a really good price. I mean, the thing is absolutely in mint shape. And I got this and the matching power supply for $125.
Bad at all, not bad at all. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I looked at the picture, and it did look pretty much the same, but a number of the 10-tech rigs look pretty similar when they go from auto model. Like the Delta is kind of like trying to think which one. But anyway, very good. Yeah, I'll be curious to hear how it works. Do you know what kind of power it puts out?
100 watts, and it runs 80 meters. It doesn't have 160 on. Look at the band switch now. It has 80 meters through 10 meters. And it covers pretty much all of 10, so it must have the optional crystals in it. But 80 through 10. And it has, let's see here. It has a resonate control, an offset control, a band control. When you get to 10 meters, you can put what segment. Has an RF meter, power on off, of course, with AM volume control. ALC blanker, and has a drive control mode, sideband reverse, CW1, CW2, sideband normal, and then it has a lock position. Go ahead.
That's exactly the same. And mine has or does not have the extra crystals in it for the top two switch positions. What's that, from 29.0 up? Does not have those crystals in it. But yeah, it's a nice little radio, it really is. All the modern fancy stuff, and I use that now. I haven't really checked it out lately. The CW filtering is just audio filtering. At least with strong signals, it's pretty good. But at times, I'm not as... I had thought it was equal to the Omni, but I'm not sure it is. But anyway, I really enjoy operating a nice, simple rig, basic rig. If you have a menu on it, it's just because you set it on top of there after you came back from the restaurant. AF3Z.
Switched over to real RF now. Yeah, very good. Well, I like some of the simple stuff, and this is a very simple, basic rig. And what kind of got me on, I was not going to try to acquire some early 10-tech stuff. But some years back, I bought, and I know you had one at one time, a Century 21. And it's in beautiful shape, and it just works so well. Probably the same audio filter design. So, and for an audio filter, it's pretty good. But, you know, audio filter will never match what a filter in the RF chain will do, and the IF chain, and things like that. But you know, I'm not a contest operator or anything like that. I just want to get on rag chew with it, and I think it'll work very, very nicely for that. So, and I looked at it and thought, man, I really shouldn't buy this. But I kept looking at it, and I sent the guy a note. I found it on QTH Classified, and he says, yeah, it's here. Had a couple tire kickers, but no money yet. So I PayPal'd him the money. And the shipping was not inexpensive, but I think even with shipping, the whole power supply and rig was like $180. But the guy packed it really well. 80-year-old gentleman, just primarily worked CW and used it for years, and he upgraded to something else, which he told me he doesn't like as much as the old 10-tech because it has menus and all that kind of stuff. So, but boy, he took really, really good care of it. I can't find a spot on it. And I'd remembered that you had what I thought was the digital version, and you always spoke highly of it. So, you know, I said, what the heck? So I think this is my, well, I don't want to add up all my 10-tech gear here, but I still have my Jupiter, which I really like, although it has the receiver. That's the big weak link in the Jupiter, is the receiver. Kind of overloads kind of easy. And it doesn't well, it's just based on the design. But for general purpose use, you know, you put the attenuator on and it's fine. The only time it gets to be a problem if somebody's like a couple kc from you and they're running the kilowatt, and you're trying to have a QSO with a weak signal. You put the attenuator on to get rid of the overload, and you also lose the weak signal. And that's where the newer stuff with the roofing filters and things like that, like the 7300 and all that, are better. But for what it is, I'm very happy, and for how I use it, I don't need at all a high performance bell and whistle type rig. Some folks do based on how they operate, but not required for me. Go ahead.
You and I are much the same on that. And when I get into a contest, I just avoid the real crowded areas. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I do like the Triton 4. And I don't know when they had to get rid of the Triton name, because there was I don't know if I'm thinking of copyright or what's the right word on that, but there was a conflict with something else. So that's why mine is a Model 544, and I guess yours is a 540. Yeah, the audio filter on this works quite well. I think I used it on sideband years ago, but I don't have a mic set up to work with this. I imagine the D104 would work okay, but I have to put a different, it's got like a 1/4-inch jack if I recall. And I'm not sure, it may be, yeah, I'm trying to remember if it handles press to talk or not. Maybe it, I don't know. I'd have to look into it. You can tell I'm a real phone operator, can't you? But yeah, that looked very nice. Yeah, I bought mine in 1982, September of 82, and I only remember that because I bought it shortly, well, about a month before my daughter was to be born, and I figured if I'm going to spill for a rig, I'd probably do it before we have a kid in the house. So 1982 to now, that's at least 10 years now. And it's been a very good rig for me. I was always sort of a one-rig person, but I couldn't bring myself to get rid of the 544. It's got sentimental value, and it's a very good rig. So I forget when my Omni quit working for me. That's a long time ago now, over a year. And so I've been using it completely. And, yeah, the amp that, I think you and I had talked about this, the amp that Harvey is passing along here. They'll put out about 50 watts. Will be great with the Pentec rig. And I think you had said, yeah, something like that, and then a nice little amplifier would be great. And I'd never even heard of this amp, and then Harvey mentioned it one day, so that's pretty cool. And like I said, I might operate 70 or 80 watts, but I never crank this thing up. I'm always kind to the finals. So, the Pentec rig will be right in there arguing well with the Triton 4 as far as power output. And as you know, on CW, 50 watts is like a kilowatt, right? AF3Z.
It's amazing. I'm constantly amazed. I can't ever see a need for anybody using a 100-watt or more amplifier, kilowatt amp on CW. It's just totally not necessary. And that's pointed out to me every year when we operate the BK event. I put out about 8 watts. I can work the West Coast. I can work up into British Columbia, Canada on 80 meters, you know, with 8 watts and get good reports and everything. As we all know, most of it's the antenna. But for CW, especially with the narrow bandwidth, you get some really good signal-to-noise ratio advantages. So that's a very good thing. But yeah, and I don't know what I told you I made, but when I had my Control Products Unlimited Incorporated company, I used Pentec to do all my cabinet work and silk screening and painting. And then when the company grew and I couldn't farm out to individuals to build these units and ship them, we got too many sales. So I used a place up in Lancaster called Tempco, Electronic Test Manufacturing Company. And they really thrived when RCA was in business in the Lancaster area. And that, I think, really built that company. But they're still in business. I called the owner, it's been a number of years now. And it was a great place. But anyway, he would he would call me. He says, Joe, you're not going to like the silk screening on the latest panels from Tentec. I says, John, what are you telling me? He said, I'll take a picture of it. And the resolution of the screen was not fine enough. So when you saw the letter T, the horizontal bar, it looked like you could see the dots. It wasn't like a line. And things like that irk me, especially when it's a product that I've designed and sold. So I'd call my contact in Tentec and say, hey guys, I hate to tell you this, but we're going to have to redo those cabinets. And without even a question, they would redo them. So then we got on something where I says, I'll tell you what, when you set up the line to do a batch of 100 or 200 more cabinets, just do 1 or 2 and send me. And if it looks good, I can say, go ahead and do the rest. And that was the real secret. But Martha and I visited the facility down there, and it was, in its heyday, it was a great, great place. Go ahead.
Yeah, we were down through there. Yeah, it's very interesting. We were down through there on the way to Florida one time. We went down, not the whole way, but we camped at Gatlinburg. One night we were just stopped on our way down to Florida, and it was when our kids were like late elementary, something like that. So it was a couple of years ago. But anyway, I knew I wasn't that far from Tentec, but I wasn't about to try to talk the family and going over there. Yeah, times change, don't they? And companies come and go and all of that. There are a few people around, I think, grieving the loss of Tentec. I sent you that information that one time on that new rig that the new Tentec is putting out. It's obviously not a rig for beginners or cheap people like me. I forget, if I forget what the price tag was going to be, 10,000, 20,000 or something like that. But anyway, it's a high-tech rig. I forget what they called it to. Maybe it just had a number. But yeah, very good. I remember that and they had commercial accounts besides the amateur stuff, of course. And I knew they were known for making cabinets for people, so that's interesting that you were one of their customers. Very good. Tomorrow I gotta wash dishes, do my dishwashing gig. This week is much more open and free for me. Last week I was just really booked up, but this week is pretty quiet, so matter of fact, speaking of quiet, I got to go start some laundry in the dryer, or I'll be up a long time tonight. It's domestication day here. So let me see. Oh, the other thing I was wondering is, do you have any time frame? I know your tower is up. Do you have any time frame on when you're going to get the stuff you want on the tower? And you don't have to go into great length. I'm just curious where you are in that whole process. AF3Z.
Okay, Jim, very good. Well, the tower's up. You got that right. And the 2-meter transmit antenna is mounted on the tower with the coax, the low-loss coax, Barryflex coming down. Bill has been coming over and helping, more than helping, doing 80% of the digging between the tower and what we call the Christmas building. You haven't seen the Christmas building yet. And because we have 4-inch conduit, so cables and all that kind of stuff will go through the 4-inch conduit. So that is making great progress. We were going to do it today, but I had a medical appointment today, and it was blistery cold out there. So I'd like to wait until, at least in the 40s. 40s are okay, but when it's in the 20s and blowing, it's just, I can do it, but it's not fun. So we're a little bit hampered because of weather, but that's it. So what I'm working on currently, and I have about half built, is the logic board that I designed. So when the user switches from 100 Hertz PL to 94.8, it'll automatically split the system. So that's coming along good. I hope to have that done within the next week. A lot of my time has been with Luke building the riser too, and that's been a great fun project. And we're now at the staining portion of the riser, so we got more staining to do. and then the urethane and things like that. But I hope in a week, 10 days, to have the control board all finished, and that'll be good. And then requires a link, because I got to escort the audio down from the 985 receiver up at the hill, because we're going to still be doing that. So I have the link that I'm working on, and the audio interfaces to the link, because the audio's got to sound great. And the link antennas, they have arrived from TE Systems, and I have to build them, but it's no big deal. Probably worst case 2 hours per beam. And the link antenna is already up on the 985 tower up at the main repeater site, so I just have to mount the link antenna here in back of the Christmas building, and it'll only be up about 10 feet off the ground, straight shot to the repeater, and a couple watts. It's full quieting. So that kind of gives you an overview, but it's moving, and I will be so glad, and I think the users will be so glad too. Oh, one thing I forgot to do, and I got to do it. I didn't want to do it too early, because it always takes longer than you think, but I want to order the 350-watt repeater amplifier for the system here, but I don't want to order it so I lose my warranty when I'm ready to use it. They have about a 2-week lead time from TE Systems out in California. So that gives you an overview. What else did you ask? Yes, and I'm going to let you go because you got to get up early. Martha's got to get up early. She's driving the Amish lady around. And we've been invited for the second time to the one-room Amish schoolhouse to see the children put on a Christmas presentation. So we're looking forward to that. And what else? That's the high points of the road. Yeah, well, Tentec, a lot of people are very critical of the new owner. But I got to say, his heart's in the right place. He's trying to bring it back. But in my opinion, he doesn't have enough rocket ship full to bring it back, because he already owns another company that does engineering consulting work for businesses, and he also has a really, really expensive solid-state amplifier, amateur amplifier on the market. I think the thing is like $12,000, so it's big, big bucks. But here he is, single guy, trying to lift another company up from the ruins. And heart's in the right place, but I wouldn't count on anything. I'm not sure that rig, they're even going to ship that rig. I'm not sure. I hope they do. But it's tough. The ham market, other than QRP kits and kits, is really, really a tough market now, competing against the big three, so to speak. 7-3, talk to you later. Take care. AF3Z, W3GMS.
Thank you, Joe, for all that information. And hams tend to be cheap, and this one especially, meaning me. So anyway, very good. Yeah, good to talk to you. And look forward to the next time. Have a good evening, and I'll try to do the same. I was sort of chuckling at myself there. All of a sudden, I was talking to somebody today and asked if I had a dog, and I said no. And I chuckled because when I said try to have a good evening here too, because I don't have to walk a dog, and that's wonderful. 73, Joe. AF3Z clear.
Been there, done that. Well, I grew up with dogs. I really, really like dogs. I like cats too. The little kitty cat we have here is fantastic. But one of the primary reasons we don't have a dog, it's difficult when you travel. We don't have anybody to watch it on a full-time basis, and I kind of have a problem taking it to a kennel. I don't know, but I've always had that problem. So, anyway, hence, no dog. And if we get too old to travel, well, that'll be too old to walk it. So, maybe a dog is not in our future. 7-3, take care, W3GMS.
Funny, because I said the exact same thing. Maybe later on, but then I won't be walking the dog anyway. 73, AF3Z.
W3GMS, KD3EMS.
How you doing? Good to hear you, W3GMS.
Hello, sir, yes. Good to hear you as well. Been really busy with work and everything, and trying to squeeze some work in at the end of the year, so Haven't had a whole lot of time on the radio here. But, hey, question for you. I was wondering if I could get on the list, your email list. My email is just a call sign, jd3@gmail.com. I think you're planning on putting me on there a while ago, but I haven't seen anything through, so I'm assuming again, I may not be on the list yet, because I'd be interested in getting the info on the breakfast and stuff like that. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Chris. The email list, the 985 user list, is in horrible shape right now. And what I'm going to be doing after the first of the year, we're going to start at ground zero and start a whole new list. So if you could send me an email, since I get many emails each day, I'll put it in my folder on the computer marked new 985 user list. And I will emphatically make sure that it's on there and saved. So anyway, my email was problematic for a while, and it said, I tried to save it, and it wouldn't save, and I put it in the draft folder, and it wouldn't store it in the draft folder, and I still don't know why it's doing this. But I have to start with a current email address, or email list, because there's people on that list that have probably never operated the repeater in 5 years. So they will not be on the user list because it's a user list. It means people that use 985. So that's it. Don't have to use it all the time. You don't have to use it often, but occasionally. So anyway, that's the deal. But do send me an email, because that will assure that you get on the revised list. Now, I hope to see you at the Christmas breakfast, which is the biggest, the largest in attendance all year, and it is the third Friday in December. So that, look in there, that's the 19th. So December 19th, and it's at 8:30 in the morning, and up at the Brass Eagle. So I'll give you that notice in advance. W3GMS, and it's always the third Friday of the month.
Yes, sir. Copy that. And your email, real quick, I believe, is it just your call sign at Gmail?
One at 6 characters, and my call only has 5, but it used to have 6, because I was formerly W3GMS. Started off in 1966 as WN, that was novice. Then when I upgraded to general was WA, and I had WA for years and years, but about 15, 20 years ago, I dropped the A and it just became W3GMS. But for Gmail, you got to have the 6. So it's WA3GMS@gmail.com.
Very good. All right, I already sent you the email. So I appreciate it, but I have the date and everything. So yeah, I'm going to check my work schedule here and see if I can swing up there in the morning. So cool. Well, hey, thanks for taking my question here real quick. I appreciate it. I'll be listening. So KD3EMS, W3GMS.
Chris, yep. And it'd be great to see you. And the December one, the Christmas/holiday one is a great one. They're all great to attend, but you will meet probably 45 to 50 people that are on this repeater. So it's a great opportunity to have an eyeball QSO, as we call it, with the folks here on 985. 7-3, I got to run, but I'm editing a document, and I want to do it before I get too sleepy. And always good to hear you on 985. Take care, Chris. W3 and GMS now clear.